there, everyone, and welcome to Pearls of Wisdom on Nirmal Bang with me, Avan Bash. Today, we want to talk about a company that is in the business of car rentals and transport services. I'm talking about WTi Cabs. It's a Delhi based car rental and transportation service provider in cities such as Delhi, Mumbai, Guwahati, Kolkata, Chennai, just to name a few. We want to talk about their expansion plans, their penetration domestically as well as internationally, and the kind of growth that they're targeting. Welcome on board then Ashok Vashisht, who is the founder and CEO at WTi Cabs. Thank you so much for taking time out. And there's so much to really talk about. I wanted to just get in a sense as to what exactly your outlook is when it comes to expanding your network, with the direct customers from B2B right now. What is the plan to really expand, and how do you plan to go about that?
So thank you very much for having me on the show. I think when you talk about business expansion is something which goes hand in hand with business because any business is like cycling. If you stop paddling, things will not happen. And being passionate about growth, I think that's what we had been doing all these years. So in last 13, 14 years, we have been able to expand our base to 250 cities. People say that we are a Delhi based company, but I don't know, maybe because we are registered in Delhi, that's the reason we are talked Delhi based, but we are a pan India organization. We have more presence in South and West than in Delhi. So we are evenly distributed among the entire country, and now we are expanding our base to Middle East. We have started our operations in Dubai. We are also expanding our base towards Far East, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, all these cities. So that's what we are talking about, and primarily we are into B2B business, but on the demand of our customers, we are going B2C also in very restricted pockets, and eventually we'll grow to more customers where we are able to offer chauffeur drive, self drive, cars on subscription on long term basis, on leasing. So we are there in all those services.
Point A to point B, and I love that you have an analogy when it comes to cycling. It clearly means that you're on the move, or at least that's what's on your mind. Talking about this, it's really been a strong trajectory that you guys have gotten off to. And now I understand that your revenue stands at about 400 odd crores, and you're looking at a turnover of about 2,000 crores by 2030. What's making you confident? What is going to drive this growth?
See, I think I don't want to become paralysis by analysis, but let's take one by one. The kind of market that we are in is a very large market. The size is humongous. Here we are talking about at least 70 lakh vehicles which are commercially registered. So the kind of revenues that we are talking about is humongous. The only thing is the market is fragmented, the market is unorganized. What we have to work here is on ensuring that we are able to make it organized by way of either bringing in technology or by way of including the so-called unorganized players into the organized stream. So we firmly believe in something called inclusion. We don't believe in the recent term which people keep using, disruption, because that's inclusion is what is very Indian, and disruption is not. So we would like to reach 2000, 4000, whatever numbers are, through inclusion.
And tell us a little bit more about how things are at present. What is the kind of fleet size that you currently enjoy? Which parts of the country is it that you're servicing? How many corporate clients do you have at present? What are the kind of airport counters that you're currently working with, and how do you plan to grow these metrics?
So we have approximately 9,000 vehicles, and if I talk about four businesses that we are working in, so one is car rental, typically where we say car required on disposal or for airport transfers in any of the cities. The second business is called employee transportation services, which means dropping and picking the employees from home office on pickup and drop. The third business is the managed services business, which means that when we take up the project, the mobility project of a large corporate, we are the only people who provide the technology, provide the manpower and the complete fleet to manage their overall operations, and thereby bring economies of scale, and give them savings. So this is a concept which we introduced in 2015, and this has been phenomenal in terms of the way we have executed and the way we have given economies to various corporations. uh, we are exactly talking on the same lines, like the way JLL, CBRE, Cushman Wakefield, all these companies used to talk some 20 years back, where each of the corporate used to have various piece companies. They came in, consolidated the entire requirement, and started giving services on global level. So similarly, on the transportation front, or on the mobility front, we want to give complete end-to-end solutions to our corporate, which will bring economies and peace of mind for them, and they will be able to concentrate on their core activity. And in India, we have started with some of the very large organizations, and we had been successful in meeting what we promised as far as their SLAs are concerned, providing the bespoke service, and last but not the least, if we are able to give some economies to them in terms of the spent uh, savings that we are able to give together. The last segment is the long term or the projects or the government. So here, what we do is we provide long term mobility solutions to various large corporations and the government organizations.
Yes, and speaking of the government organizations, how much of your total turnover comes from the government and how is that increasing? Because I understand there are a lot of initiatives as well that the government is taking, and this bolsters your overall contribution.
So honestly speaking, I think initially, like all the corporate guys, normally they have some amount of reservations toward the government business, but we realized that that's the field where we have to carve out a niche, and we started this business in the COVID, and now approximately some 7 to 8% of our business is coming from the government entities, and this business is going to go up by every day, because we are now understanding as to what government needs, what are the kind of contracts that they are getting into. Today, when we talk about the sustainability drive, we are investing heavily in terms of introducing the sustainable vehicles, whether they are electric vehicles or bio CNG vehicles, which will be able to bring down the pollution and ultimately meet the demands of the CEOs, and they are able to meet the objective of the government organizations as well. So this business is going to grow for sure, and there is a mandate also from the government to hire these services rather than owning such services, because owning will always be more expensive.
And what about the expansion then that you're really looking at? I believe Jaipur, Chandigarh, Coimbatore, etc. Domestically, can you walk us through what the overall revenue contribution is and how you're looking to expand?
So as of now, 90% of the business is coming from the major 12 metros. 10% of the business is coming from the smaller cities. But if I look at the growth in cities like Chandigarh, Jaipur, Coimbatore, the way you have mentioned, from Guwahati, I think we are really happy about the growth that we can see. We are also putting a lot of efforts in terms of taking the airport counters there, giving our users various kind of facilities where we can ensure that we are available at every step to our corporate clients. And since we'll be moving into B2C also during the end of this year, so we are ramping up our operations across these cities. uh, if we talk about numbers, I think if we will get a growth of around 150 to 200 crores, possibly 50 has to come from the two tier cities. And in absolute terms, I think this is going to be a good growth because uh, most of the corporate companies are started moving towards two-tier cities, for example, Indore, Trivandrum, Cochin, Coimbatore, Bhubaneswar. So these are the locations that we have started, setting up our operations.
Okay, and what about international presence? Because I believe that that's on the cards as well. There was Dubai that you launched your services in 2023, and Saudi Arabia. Give us a sense as to what the international plan is.
So we started our operations in Dubai in 23 December. So today we are operating with more than 100 vehicles there, and possibly by the end of the year we are targeting at least some 300 plus vehicles in Dubai alone. Dubai, when you talk about the entire UAEs, it was about the size, and that's what I understood from that business. So your size has to be pretty large. You have to be visible in that city. So that's the reason we are expanding there. Also, the entire market is very vibrant in terms of it is a rental market because most of the people they go for either subscription of car or lease of cars or self drive. So that's the reason it is a different kind of a market altogether. And we intend to start Saudi Arabia and Far East very soon. So once we get a little traction of around 300 plus vehicles in Dubai, the next stop is Saudi Arabia because the growth is in that part of the world. The only reason why we want to go global is that WTI wants to be the first Indian mobility company to have base or to have made its mark in the entire globe, on the entire globe. So we have started taking our baby steps, and I think in next 2 years' time, you'll see our significant presence not only in India but across. Possibly, when you get down at some of the busiest airport on the world, you'll see our presence.
Okay, that's good to know as you're expanding your footprint. And clearly, you're also on a sustainability mobility drive. You plan to have 1,000 EV fleet as a part of this. It's something that you already started internationally. How is that working out so far?
So till now, we have already inducted around 400 plus vehicles. We are inducting another 100 vehicles during this particular month for the Bangalore city, and same way we'll be replicating the process in all the major metros. So we are not only talking about electric; we are talking about using sustainable fuel. And apart from electric, I think the next big thing will be a bio CNG, which will be truly sustainable in terms of the cost, in terms of the per kilometer cost that should come down, and of course the pollutions level will be zero. So we are working not only on one particular option, but we are working on almost all the options available as of now.
Give us an outlook as well as to the new avenues that you're exploring, corporate commute, corporate hubs to residential condominiums. What exactly are you looking at in that vein? Are there going to be some sort of a tie-up that you'll have, or what are the arrangements that you're making on that front?
So that's something which we started and will be working on because when you talk about decongesting the road, it is important. You need to work on slightly larger vehicles, whereby you are able to connect the corporate hubs with the residential condominiums. The already the tech process or making an app is in the process, which will be launched very soon. And also we are in touch with various state governments as well as the central government bodies to take various permissions whereby we'll be able to fly these vehicles, uh, ultimately contributing to ensure that the pollution comes down, the decongestion, there's a decongestion, and people are able to get the right kind of transportation from point A to point B, and that's what has been the objective.
And what about back home, the kind of state contracts that you're looking at, state government projects, you're looking to enter bus services in Delhi, UP, MP, you're bidding for some of these. What's the update on those bids?
I think we'll have to wait for some more time because we have done our share of job. It is the government who has to decide now. Let's wait for them to come out with. It will be too early to give you any kind of indication as of now.
Okay, and finally, give us a sense, from you. We just wanted to understand because it has been a recent listing. It has been an interesting journey for the company. At the helm of a company like this, would you like to share with us some pearls of wisdom or any advice that you'd like to impart, being in a competitive industry that you're operating in?
Good, bad, ugly, all, or only good things.
Good, bad, ugly. Why not?
Okay. So, so I think first and foremost is take money when you don't need it, because when you need the money, you'll never get it. So, in spite of the fact that we had a lot of reserves and surpluses, we took it at the time when the money was not required. The second is a lot of patience is required because till such time you go public, you're managing the company the way you want it. But now there are a lot of permissions that you see. You have to take from a lot of other people, and there is a board, there is a governance committee, there is a whole lot of processes. So once you get into that, I think respect it because it is for your good. Probably
No,
because sorry.
you said good, bad, ugly. So I'm thinking, is there something like a big no,
Yeah,
no, or a
it is ugly only from the person. He has to change. For example, I have to change. A lot of people on the helm of the affair will have to change. So training is not required by my team. Training is required by me, not by anybody else. Because the rest everybody is trained. They were following what they were to be followed. The only thing is I was not following. So I have to be trained as to how to run a company where you have investors, you have governance policies, you have etc. 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 So initially for 2 months after the IPO, I was talking to each and every investor, and possibly whether he's taking 1,000 shares or 10,000 shares or 1 lakh shares. But then
wow.
then I started making it a point that I'll meet only once in a month, and now once in a quarter, because the indicator of a company is my performance. One of
Yeah.
the fact of life is, however good or bad I may be, if my
Mm,
company is doing good, we will continue to raise money. If my company is not doing good, I can do whatever I want, but you will not get the money. So I think here the lesson is that I have to keep progressing. I have to only think of growth. I have to only think of processes, and that's how things are going to be. Rather than I was telling to most of the investors, my first priority always is my employees. My
mm.
second priority is my customers, and investors are my last priority. And the reason I say this is because, and I want to reiterate, reason I'm saying this is because if my employees are happy, my
Yeah.
customers will definitely be happy, and if my customers are happy, the investor will come for sure.
Great. You've been so candid. So thank you so much for interacting with us, not only about the company, but about your personal journey and your priorities. And I guess that is really being reflected in the way the company is performing so far. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update from Nirmal Bang.